Hello, I'm Nikki and welcome to Handicrafts. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 makes I crafted using the gift from Die Cutting Essentials magazine, issue 66. These are all really easy and simple. I really like my neutral and dark colours, so I've stuck with recycled brown craft cardstock for the base here. The bright yellow is a little out of my comfort zone. I've decided a basic layout with the die cut panels just layered and centred. I was going to have the black die cut behind the yellow, but that didn't seem like enough, so I swapped it for the green one and added a layer of the black. I have this sunflower stamp set, which was out recently for another project and it seemed perfectly coordinated. I wanted a non-specific sentiment and decided to use Shine. It was connected to a small flower stamp. I find masking quite fussy and I'm not too precious about my supplies, so I just carefully cut these apart, making sure not to get too close to either stamp, as that can affect the way they work. I'm going to heat emboss the sentiment onto a black strip of card. First, I prepare the card with an anti-static powder bag. I stamp using my clear pigment ink. I do a couple just in case. Next, I cover it with white embossing powder. It's probably not normal to push it on with your finger like I do here, but I'm not sure how sticky my ink pad is. I might need a new one soon. Tapping off the excess, fingers crossed for a clean result. And then heating the powder. I love watching it work. The first time I heat embossed, it felt like some kind of magic. Okay, now we're going to put it all together. I'm using liquid craft glue to adhere this black layer. I like the way it only leaves a skinny edge of the craft base peeking out. Pressing that down really well and making sure it's adhered all the way round. Now I'm going to glue the die cut panels together. I use a fine-tipped bottle for my glue, which is useful for thin application, especially on the detailed die cut, as you want to try to avoid excess glue squeezing out at the sides. Sticking these together, super easy to line up. Then I use some double-sided foam tabs. I didn't want to use 2 more whole ones, so I snipped one in half to fill those opposite corners. And then just pop it up in the centre of the card. To finish, I'll get that sentiment. Initially, I thought I would run the strip across the whole card, but when I tried it, I wasn't so keen. Instead, I trimmed the strip at an angle, quite tight so that we can see plenty of colour around it. And then, using a foam tab, I adhere that on top. Now, on to our second project, a simple and elegant card. Here I've got the sunflower panel cut from black cardstock and a square pearlescent white card base. What I'm going to do first is just glue the panel into the centre of the card base. Again, using that liquid craft glue. In this case, it gives time to add the next element before it dries. I want to create the illusion of a single piece by adhering short strips of the black cardstock at each side. You might be able to tell I'm using the leftovers from the previous card. I do hate to waste good cardstock. So once that is tucked in and adhered, I'm going to turn over the card to trim the excess. This can help you to get a straight cut. I am a little annoyed when I turn this over that one of the sides isn't quite straight. Next, I wanted to add something extra without getting too complicated. So I reached for my handy shimmer pen, and I'm adding some sparkle to the centre of the sunflowers. Now all it needs is a sentiment, so I have some matching shimmer white cardstock left from trimming out the card base we used here, and I take the happy birthday from that same sunflower set we used before, and I'm just going to stamp that with some black pigment ink. Off screen, I just ran that through my Big Shot with a stitched square die. Now I'll just pop that up with a sticky foam tab. Try to get that lined up nicely. Now those sunflowers weren't looking quite sparkly enough, so I'll just add a little bit more shimmer. And it's done. Now, one final quick make. This light cream die cut panel still had some pieces in, so I'm just using a toothpick to push them through. As soon as I saw this set, I thought this would make a cute gift tag. To do that, I'm layering the detail panel on top of the solid die cut panel. For high contrast, I'm using black cardstock. So again, I'm going to use the liquid glue to adhere these. It makes it easy to ensure the panels are aligned. And then pressing those together really well. Now the back of the tag is black, which can be hard to write on, so I'm going to add a second solid die cut panel from the craft cardstock. This also gives the tag some extra strength. I have a friend who's been so supportive lately. I think we'll do a thank you and I'll drop a gift round soon. I've got this very cute stamp that says thanks a bunch. I'll stamp that here on a scrap of craft with the black pigment ink again. And get that trimmed down. And getting that trimmed down to a good size for this tag. Now I can round off the corners with this punch. Sometimes I find it can be easier than die cutting to just trim a stamped image and then use a corner punch to finish. Right, I'll stick that on with a foam tab. And lastly, punch a hole in the top. That's it. Wow, 3 different takes on this sunflower panel die. All the details and dimensions are in my blog post, which you can find linked in the description below. If you enjoyed today's video, please click the thumbs up to like. And if you want to see more stuff like this, you are welcome to like the Handicrafts page over on Facebook. And of course, you can subscribe to this channel. I hope you're all still staying safe. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you again soon.